Now I was addicted to gaming for about 10 years. I dropped out of high school. I never graduated, never went to college. And I was gaming up to 16 hours a day, like living in my parents' basement, pretending to have jobs, deceiving my family. I got to a point where I wrote a suicide note, and that's really where I decided to make a change.
So as a child, I was very obsessed with playing video games. And looking back, I'm not even sure I had time to do anything else because of how much I loved playing my games. But growing up, I found other passions and hobbies, things like music and food and dancing and going on hikes and stuff like that. So over 10 years ago, I put my video game obsession on the shelf and I have not looked back since, and I've been so happy because of it. So I have no problem with video games. I completely understand the excitement and the buzz around it, but recently video game addiction has gotten out of hand. So I found out that parents are now getting their kids tutors to make them better at video games so that they do not get bullied in school and get made fun of. And when I heard that, I was just like, oh my God, things are getting bad. And I wanted to see if I could sort of lend a helping hand. Now I know video games are fun. There's lights, there's sounds, you play multiplayer with friends, there's guns firing off, you get to step into these like fantasy worlds that you would never actually exist in and be super powerful. When you die, you get reborn again. But I wanted to see if I can make cooking as fun, if not more fun, than playing video games, to encourage you to get in the kitchen and find some balance in your life. I'm not saying stop playing video games, but maybe get off the couch a bit, get in your kitchen, make some amazing food, and go on an adventure. Actually getting to figure out, what is the dish that you want to make, going to get the ingredients, figuring out how to make it, cooking the dish, having friends over, enjoying this meal. It's kind of like playing a game. There's all these different little missions, and each mission leads up to a bigger and bigger mission. And throughout the mission, you have different equipment or tools or weapons or whatever that you get. And you get experience points, and cooking is very much the same. So mission number 1, figuring out what you want to make. So I decided to go with some Korean food. I thought bibimbap. Bibimbap.
Korean bibimbap. Bibimbap is mixed rice with vegetables and meat and spicy sauce.
I also wanted to do some kimchi pancakes and kimchi tofu dumplings. Simple things that have a lot of different techniques, and when you're gonna walk away with all this extra experience and be confident to go make all kinds of stuff. So part of this mission was actually going out and trying the food. Now I'm not saying you have to, but because I'm teaching you guys, I wanted to go try some Korean restaurants, looking for some place that's not too far. Silla, wow. Authentic Asian restaurants. That looks 5 minutes. All right, my mission has led me here. Korean restaurant, supposed to be amazing in Aurora, Denver. Almost forgot that one of the best parts about going to a Korean restaurant. Banchan. This is all free with my meal. Not just like a couple things, but 10 things. Kimchi pancake. So it's basically a flour-based pancake, wheat flour, scallions and kimchi in there. They fry up. That is a crispy one. So my second quest and mission is to figure out the ingredients that I need. So I made a bit of a shopping list. I figured out the different things that I want. I like to go online and I'll check out other people's recipes. I'll look at pictures and kind of just get a visual sense of sort of what goes into the dish, what ingredients there are. Then I make my shopping list and I go for the glory. I ended up going to H Mart, a gigantic Asian market that has everything you could ever want. Do not be intimidated. Just go one thing at a time. Pick up some things that you recognize. Check out your list. I always say, try to stick to your list. But also, if you see something that seems exciting, feel free to grab it. These kiwi berries. I met a woman there who worked at the market, and this is part of the fun bonus, is she just showed me around, showed me everything that I need to buy. And one of the things that's cool about going on these missions is making every element fun. So sometimes people are dreading shopping, make it fun. You get to go to a place, look for things, try new things, grab things, meet people. Don't be afraid to ask someone in the store, hey, you look like you know what you're doing. How do I cook this?
Meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This will help me for the video.
You wash the rice in another container if you can.
Yes.
Put the clean rice in, water, always your middle finger, In our houseware, we don't have return policy.
No return policy.
Except electronic.
Okay. This is why the mission's so amazing. You never know who you're going to meet, how they're going to help you on your journey.
Gyeonggimi.
Medium grain. Okay.
This is number one rice for bibimbap and sushi, anything.
Really? All good.
And
Okay.
affordable price.
That's a good price.
Bean sprout. This is soybean sprout. This is for pho.
For pho.
Vietnamese.
Yes, Vietnamese.
This is Korean.
Korean. Okay. Get a big bag of it.
That's it. You know, this is good for your liver.
This is good for liver?
Not for
Ribeye sliced.
best tip, cut in half. And then you mix with it. Wear glove, mix with a little bit of soy sauce, touch of sugar, marinate it, fry it. That's how you
Just in half. You don't have to cut it any more than that. I would say the mission was complete with flying colors. Getting to actually meet someone that works there and her just openness and willingness to want to help me and show me how to make the dish basically and give me the insider tips on ingredients. This is why I love cooking, the adventure. Yeah, sure, the meal and the destination is great, but you never know who you're going to meet along the way, the things you're going to experience, and it's amazing.
Do you think it's becoming more well known that like there is such thing as video game addiction? Because when I was growing up, people didn't, that wasn't like talked about.
Yeah, I think it is becoming more prevalent just because something that I kind of see anyway is that parents find it harder to parent without using money or without, like instead of taking your kids to the park, it's easier to put them in front of a console or a TV and just give them a video game to play so that they can keep themselves occupied rather than you actually putting in effort and like taking them someplace. And so I think that's kind of where it happens, is that kids, that's really all that they have to play sometimes.
So now that it's time to cook, first we need to check our inventory. So just as you would playing in like some sort of first-person shooter game, you've got your guns and your ammo. We've got equipment, and we've got ingredients. Think about them the same way. So you might start out with this little dinky gun and then work your way up to something bigger. So don't be intimidated if you don't have all these. But these are some basic kitchen equipment that you can buy for a lot less than a video game system. You got a pan, pot, cutting board, knife, peeler. So as you gain more and more experience, you can also find these bonus items. You know, when you get more money, you can go out and buy these really fun items. Like I have this flamethrower. There's also mandolin slicers, julienne peelers. I've been playing this cooking game for over 10 years, so I have a huge wealth of experience and knowledge and equipment and all kinds of stuff. But don't be intimidated, just work with what you got and you will get there. On to our next mission. So now that we have all our ingredients prepped out, ready to go, the first thing we're gonna do is make some kimchi pancakes. The first thing you gotta do is check your inventory. Got some scallions, all-purpose flour, kimchi, an egg, a little salt, and some oil. Some water to make the batter. Okay, let's make the kimchi pancakes. So in Korea, the pancakes, like they have so many kinds. There's like squid pancakes and everything you can imagine they put in pancake form. But the kimchi to me is kind of the popular classic one. And kimchi has so much flavor, so you really don't need much else. A little turbo bonus action, 2 knives. Crack an egg, beat that up. Water. Add just a splash of sesame seed oil, that's optional. Flavor, salt. Add some flour, we're gonna make a batter. Just gonna gradually add it in. I think people play these different games. A lot of them have a lot of skill involved, you know, and a lot of like thought. Every recipe is like a level, you know. And the better and better you get, the easier it becomes, the more you learn. But at first it's challenging, you know, you just gotta get over that hump. Don't be intimidated. Okay, so you can make this thicker if you want, but I kind of like it a little bit thinner. It'll still cook down really well. Gonna add some of my kimchi. Boom, add some scallions, maybe half of these. Scallywaggers. And you could add like soy sauce if you want, like sesame seeds. Have fun with it, it's just like a savory pancake. So I've already got all these scallions I chopped up, so I figured I'd make a quick little sauce. And this is whatever you want, like, you know, soy sauce is kind of the base of it. And there's a very specific Korean soy sauce. I'm just kind of using what I had. Soy sauce, rice vinegar, a little splash, a little sesame oil. You'll see sesame oil in so many things in Korean cuisine. And some sesame seeds. And just give that a little mix, and then you have a dipping sauce. So I'm heating up my pan. You could use a non-stick pan, but if you don't, just make sure you have enough oil in there. But I'm gonna use some sesame oil goes in. Make sure it kind of pour it right in. Okay, just let it sit. Don't mess with it. This is time to be patient. Think about it, it's like your character is like leveling up right now, you know, just let it be patient, let it chill. What you really want to do is get a nice crisp on the bottom. Once there's a crisp there, it should just release off the pan pretty well. So quick note, if you'd like, you can follow my podcast. If you are someone that does struggle with whether it's addiction or you're trying to find some kind of balance in life, I have a podcast that's just really here to lend a helping hand, just to basically be a friend who's offering you some life advice about different things, from relationships to addiction to just how to live an inspired life and follow your dream. Click the link below. It's called You Enjoy Life. You can find it on any podcasting apps. So if you'll notice now, this thing is actually, because of the oil amount, moving around nice. So I can try to flip it, but it's still kind of gonna be in a bit of a danger zone. So if you notice it's getting too hot, but still the top is kind of chilling, you can cover it. So I'm actually gonna turn the heat off a little bit, let the residual heat chill in there. But what I might actually do is just kind of take this onto a pan like so. This is the easiest way. Get a little more oil down here, and we'll see what happens. Boom! Throw stuff, man. Keep getting more and more fun. So it's not gonna need to cook as long on this side. So just kind of watch it. As soon as the other side has like a nice goldenness to it, you're good to go. And you're in pancake heaven. Give it a little flip. Boom, look at that thing. Just like that. Level complete. Oh my God. Listen, you can experience something on a screen, but to taste something in your mouth that's good, it's the ultimate win. What do you think, Tim?
It's looking good.
Excited to try it?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, get in here.
Oh boy.
Give it a taste.
This looks magical.
It's just such like a, not what you expect.
Pancake, like
With the crispy,
salty, spicy, sweet.
the
Everything.
chewy.
I need more.
More.
Give it to me.
I guess what I love so much about video games is getting those achievements or getting that special something in the games that no one else has, or I guess getting that calling card, you know, that camo, whatever, or that, you know, that trophy, or you get that that medal, you know, I feel accomplished. You feel like you won. And honestly, I just like the feeling of doing something and completing it wholly.
Games are specifically designed to keep you hooked, and I believe they fulfill certain human needs that we have. That's like to escape, to socially connect, to see measurable progress, and to feel a sense of purpose. And it's all designed around instant gratification. So when you're used to instant gratification, and doing anything that requires delayed gratification is very challenging, because you can just press a button and instantly have a fully immersive experience that you can play for 15 hours straight. It's super fun, and you're doing it with friends and meeting people, and you always know what to do next. And you also get a feedback loop to see yourself progress.
So this recipe has a lot of ingredients, but everything is very simple. Like, you could not get more simple. You're cooking every ingredient individually in a very simple manner, and they all come together to be this one amazingly epic experience of life. I've got spinach, carrots, some mushrooms, onions, bell pepper, cucumber, bean sprouts, beef, whatever beef you like, eggs, garlic, and of course, rice. But you can switch out for different things, and that's what makes this fun. It's like role-playing games. You can decide what adventure you want to take, or what different things you want to use, what different weapons you want to use to fight the big boss. That's kind of like this, except the boss is deliciousness in your mouth. So I'm using a medium grain rice with a little salt and water, and basically just bring that up to a boil. And all you're doing is you're bringing this up to a boil, giving this a stir every once in a while, that way it doesn't stick to the bottom. And rice is so simple. It's the easiest thing in the world to cook. It's basically just salt, water, rice, and then when it comes to a boil, turn the heat to low, and then just cover it. And just let it sit for like 10, 12 minutes. All right, I'm making a Korean beef. Some people might call this like a bulgogi beef. It's not exactly bulgogi. Oh, sesame seeds might not hurt. But it's really simple. Basically just take this beef, and I already have it sliced up. So if you're buying like a whole beef, this is a sliced ribeye, but you can use like a fillet or a strip or whatever. Just slice it super thin. And then I'm actually gonna cut it into these thinner strips. So you actually really wanna cook this. This is not the kind of steak that you're cooking like medium rare. So whatever steak you got, whatever you can afford, whatever level you're at is great, it's perfect. All right, so to my bowl, a little soy sauce, sesame oil, a little bit of sugar. It's optional, but just a little bit in, why not? Now you could just mince up the garlic, but here's my little bonus weapon tool here. And I don't mean to make it weapon in a violent way, I'm just trying to show you that like, these tools in the kitchen are more fun than the weapons that you'll have in your video games. So what's cool about this is you can literally just, if you get one of these microplanes, they're like 20 bucks, and you just grate. You don't even have to peel the garlic. Adding some onion will kind of help cut it and give you more volume in there. All right, now while there are a lot of tools in the inventory, this is the best tool that there is, the hand. Smell, I mean, you can't smell video games, but you can smell food. It's so exciting. Okay, so I'm just gonna let this beef, because it's so thin, just marinate for a little bit while I prep the other vegetables. The bean sprouts here, but very simple. I'm just gonna actually drop these in and kind of boil them. Nothing goes on there, just boil them for like 10-15 minutes. They're gonna get nice and soft, and then we'll season them after. You know how in video games, sometimes when you beat a level or complete a mission, like you can complete it without doing everything? Well, that's kind of what happened here. I forgot one special ingredient. So I'm actually gonna grate in some apple. And typically they would use some sort of like Korean pear to add sweetness to it. I know I added some sugar, but this is just gonna add a really nice little unique flavor. And mushrooms are great. These are shiitake mushrooms, but any mushrooms you use will work. They're great, they're really simple to cut. All you do is just kind of take them like this, go down, boom, very slow. And the key is starting simple, because as you know, you see these guys like, whatever, but the truth is, as you get better at it, it will just naturally get faster. Just like playing a game, you know, like you learn. When you first start playing, it's a little awkward, a little bit weird, but you get over that hump, and before you know it, you're good. So if you allow yourself not to get frustrated and get over the hump, you will become a master in the kitchen. Lots of different ways to cut a bell pepper. I think the easiest way is to chop off the bottom first, just a little bit, just to make it kind of sit flat. You know, when you have something wobbling in the kitchen, you're holding this knife, it's not always a good situation. So chop off the bottom first, and then just go through and cut the tops off like that, and then you can take it over here, boom. You're basically just trying to cut out the center piece right here, because you don't need that. We're gonna keep it really simple and make these long, thin strips called basically a julienne. So you can either kind of pull the knife like this, or easier is just kind of go down. I'm gonna cut it in half first. And there's of course different ways to slice this, but what I find is fun for this dish is to kind of cut the half in half. I'm actually gonna make these really thin moons. If you don't feel comfortable doing two at once, you can start with one, but you can make these thin little moon shapes. Just a fun little advanced trick. I cut it in half already. All right, so the carrot, there are a couple things you can do. I like to cut it in half first. And this is nice to put it in thin strips, so you can kind of cut it in half again. And then at this point, you can kind of cut it into these thin little strips, which if you want, you can then cut into even thinner strips. So that's a great way to get these little juliennes right there. But there's a cheat code, julienne peeler. These things are like $5. You can get them online, get them in Asian grocery stores, and you just go like that, go around, makes these long thin strips. It's used a lot in papaya salad, in pickled veggies, and then you have these beautiful veggie strips. So I'm gonna use my cheat code here. All right, now that we have everything prepped, we can just start cooking the ingredients. So I'm using a little bit of, tiny bit of sesame oil and some regular oil. You don't wanna use all sesame unless you really want that flavor. Some intense flavor. Carrots, and these are so thin, so they're gonna cook so quick. All I wanna do is just kind of wilt them down, infuse a little bit of that flavor in there, add a little salt. Again, you could do soy sauce if you prefer that.
Why are you using a chopstick?
I just love chopsticks. So this to me, you know when you're playing a game and like you've got all your crazy weapons, but sometimes you just want like a knife to just like hit someone in the jugular. Like I kind of feel like that. Like this is just the simplest thing. It's so effective, and it's also great. I can pick stuff up. I can move it around. Okay, let's go right back where you found them. Let them chill. Now I'm gonna do mushrooms. They're probably gonna take a little bit more oil, and they're gonna take a little bit longer. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, and I think at the end I'll probably hit them with some soy sauce. I feel that too much salt, but when you're cooking with soy sauce, you don't always want to have it at the beginning because it has a tendency to burn a bit. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of soy sauce. Now that they're pretty much done, just to infuse a little more flavor. Give them one quick stir, and that's all she wrote. Taking some spinach really simply, tiny bit of water, just dropping it right in. And this spinach is gonna wilt like a mofo.
It's gonna start to steam. The water's gonna steam a little bit. And I'm gonna add some sesame oil and a little bit of regular oil. And as the water goes out, that oil is going to infuse with the spinach and become phenomenal. Do you ever cook spinach, Tim? A little bit, yeah. so good. I'll steam it. Yeah. Okay, this much. So this is kind of like a cheating man. This is a cheat code right here. This is like a cheating man steam. Instead of having to get the steamer basket out, instead of having like a whole situation, just get a little bit of water. It's still gonna steam the water out, and you don't have to deal with the whole stuff. Steaming. See, it's already wilted down dramatically.
All right, so I actually let some of that juice from the spinach chill, just because I thought it'd be fun. This is how you improv in the kitchen. I can add my cucumbers right in there because I have all that amazing flavor. And cucumbers cooked might seem weird, but they're so good cooked. They just kind of get a little bit softer, lose a little bit of the bitterness. Switch it up a little bit, add some rice vinegar. Why not? Let's try a different combination. A little bit of oil.
Is this like almost pickling them?
It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like heat pickling them in a sense, yeah. Now, well, honey, why not? Pickling always has some sweetness. A little salt. Oil in the pan. I'm not gonna use the sesame oil for this one because I've been really sesameing it up a bit. That's it. Things are firing off hot. Fire in the hole. All right, you save the star for last. Give it a lot of time to marinate. Add some just regular oil in here because there's already seasoning on the beef. The beef doesn't need any more seasoning. Look at that. Woo! That's phenomenal. Steam a little bit at first because there is some liquid in there, but it will start to get crispy. And you want this beef to be like nice and chewy. You don't need to worry about it being like super tender. As the liquid cooks out, the beef will slowly start to get caramelized, delicious. And just smell it and realize that you're doing something for yourself that's amazing. You're in the kitchen, you're having fun, you're trying something new. Would you say that there's like a line between what makes someone like a healthy gamer and an addicted gamer, and like how you can kind of differentiate?
The difference between a gaming passion and a gaming addiction always begins with negative impact. So if you're continuing to play despite no negative impact, like your grades are dropping, you're dropping out of school, you're failing college, it's hurting your relationships, it's hurting your capacity to work, then those are signs that you want to be looking at to make sure that, maybe your gaming isn't so healthy anymore. If you try to quit and you fail, if you are being deceptive, lying to people, I was pretending to have jobs. If you're in a position where, you quit and you're experiencing withdrawal symptoms like cravings and urges to play, that's also something that you want to be watching out for. There's warning signs that you can look at, but most people are gaming and they're fine. But some people are struggling. And if that's you, then go to gamequiz.com or go see a professional and make sure that you get help.
Your optional side mission, I just really wanted to take it. Tim, I said dumplings and you were like, dumplings!
Need them.
We're gonna make kimchi dumplings. Really simple. You can use whatever ingredients you got, but kimchi is the base. Then I've got some tofu, scallions, egg, a little sesame seeds, sesame oil, and my wrappers. Beat that up, and I probably don't need a whole egg, we'll see. And the egg is optional, but it does help bind things together. The tofu, smash it in your hand. Scallions, kimchi, cheat it up, sesame oil, and of course sesame seeds. And then use your favorite tool, your hand. Of course some salt, cannot forget the salt. So yeah, you take your filling, not too much, just enough. Little like a teaspoon, a couple teaspoons. Just a little bit of water around the edge on one side. Wrap it up. And then what I like to do, make sure there's no pockets because then everything will squirt out. But once you have it here, this is a dumpling, you're done. But I find if you go like this, a little more water over here, and then just kind of fold the sides in, it's just gonna make your dumpling looking skills so much better. And if anything squirts out, it's not a big deal, just kind of make sure you seal it up, pinch that off. Then you end up with these things, and I mean, people are gonna be like, what have you done? You're genius.
Dumps. Voila. Woo.
Dumplings are done. Look at this beautiful side mission, so worth it. What were you eating when you were gaming?
Oh, it's so bad. I was just pounding soda, pounding pop, eating chips. I remember I'd sneak out at night often once my parents went to sleep, and I'd smoke weed and then get a big bag or two of salt and vinegar chips and a bunch of pop and just annihilate it all. I decided to eat McDonald's 3 times a day for 3 months straight. Go on the McDonald's diet.
Wow.
When I came home that summer, my mom looked at me and I was pale white, super skinny. I lost 15 pounds. I'm not a very big guy in the first place. I'm like 150 pounds, and I had lost a lot of weight. I was pale, and my mom was horrified.
And for our final mission is to put everything together to create this one amazingly epic dish that you've never seen in your entire life. Sesame oil goes down, just kind of like mix that around. And it's actually not necessarily for stickiness, but for flavor. And if you do not have one of these, it's okay. You can just make your rice bowl, eat your food, good to go. But if you do, what's awesome is you actually cook it now on here, and the rice on the bottom will get super crispy. Just kind of press that down a little bit into the pan. So the way that I like to think about this is that you've powered up all of your tools and your ingredients and everything. Now you get to put it together to defeat the final boss and eat the most amazing treat of all time. Of course, the Viva la Resistance, the magic weapon right there. This is real magic. Cooking is actual magic. Now for the double magic. Make a little well in that beef. And sometimes I'll do a fried egg, but if you're gonna cook it like this, the best way to do it, raw egg right there. Now, what's gonna happen is when I heat this up and then mix it together, it's all gonna cook. Sometimes I even use raw beef. Forgot the mushrooms, I can't believe it. Abort mission! I failed! No, you can't fail. Flame on. What's cool here is you basically just pop this guy right on, and you just let that heat up. So when you serve this at the table, it's gonna be super hot. So you wanna have some gloves ready to go. The final piece of this is the sauce.
I do play games, not as much as I used to.
What shifted?
Just responsibility, responsibility, and then just like other activities as well.
So when you say you used to play a lot, like, would you say it was a pretty, like, an addiction or like an
It's
obsession?
definitely an addiction. I definitely got into like the MMO side of things.
When you say it was an obsession, like, was it impacting your life, like, negatively?
I mean, I guess there was some negative connotations with it. I mean, there's the lack of socializing, but in a way it also helped with socializing because you were there with a bunch of other players, so you created your own community. So I mean, you're kind of outside of like social life, but you're inside a different social life. So it still kind of helps with the being able to socialize. It's just a different kind of thing.
So if you haven't had gochujang before, this is a Korean chili red pepper paste. It's really spicy, it's very thick, it's fermented, it's really intense. When you mix it with other stuff, it makes one of the best sauces you'll ever taste. A good healthy serve. You can make a big batch of this and kind of savor it because it lasts for a long time. It's almost like if you think of spicy ketchup with sriracha, it's like that, but even better. Rice vinegar. Explosion, man down. A little soy. A little sesame oil. Good amount of honey because it's very spicy. It's gonna balance that out. And then at this point, it's just about consistency and flavor that you like. So you start mixing it together, and if you want it, if it's too spicy, you can add some honey or vinegar, cut it a little bit. And then we'll see if I can pour this in without spilling it everywhere. May the sauce gods be with me. See, that is some true skill right there. Still going, still going. Woo! Wow, this is probably the most colorful, beautiful thing I've ever made in my entire life. Got the red peppers, the mushrooms, spinach, carrots, bean sprouts, cucumbers, raw egg, rice at the bottom that's crispy, you can hear that. And then all you do, kind of mix that around to, oh my God, come on. Take your gochujang and just squizzle it on, give it the old BG zip. And then what you do is you start to mix everything around. And as you mix, the flavors just get better, better and better. We've done it, we've defeated the final boss, but it's a fun defeat. No one's a loser here. Look at this. Get a little bit of everything, or just get like little bites. You can get like rice. What's the cool is you can get like all these different types of bites and you have like endless combinations. Combo! Now my mouth's getting beat up with deliciousness. My trusty partner in crime of cuteness over here. There's so many elements about this dish that are amazing. But I think the best part is that everything is super simple and it comes together in this symphony of magic in your mouth. You want some meat? All right, we'll give you some. Ready? Take that. All right, that's for you. Go down. Get this super, look at that. You guys see that? Crispy burnt rice, the different textures. It's one of the most beautiful, genius dishes I've ever made. With the amount of food that I made, you could easily feed 4 people. 2 big bowls of that, 12 dumplings and a bunch of pancakes. This is the Kimchi Dumplings. And that is it, folks. You have won the game. Congratulations. You did it. You gained the experience. You now have the confidence to go out and create whatever dish you want. Be proud of yourself. Listen, I'm not trying to knock on video games, but if you're someone that struggles with a serious video game addiction, I challenge you to take something else on in life. Cooking, yes, this took me some time, but the adventure and the journey were so much fun. I got to meet people. I got to taste good food. You get to share this food with friends. You get to put stuff in your body that makes you feel good.
If I didn't quit gaming, then I would never do anything else. I would just stay home and game and game and game. And today I haven't gamed for about 7 years. And the reason is because if I game, I'll just do the bare minimum in my life to be able to get by, pay my bills. And I do that to maximize the amount of time I can game. So for me, it's just a simple choice of like, I like my life now. I go surfing, I travel the world, I'm, have my own business, and I eat really healthy. And that's obviously a big difference between when I was gaming 16 hours a day. And, I just like my life now. And so I just continue to invest in that and encourage others to do so as well.